Boys and girls watching, today we are going to talk about a doctor. Now, doctors have different jobs and they're different kinds of doctors. What kind of doctor do you think you go to? Do you go to a vet? No. A vet is for who? What kind of?
Animals.
For animals, that's right. Do you know what kind of your doctor is called?
Pediatrician.
A pediatrician, that's right. Mommy might say, we're going to go to the pediatrician today. Maybe if you're not feeling well, mommy might say to daddy, oh, daddy, I think we better take her to the pediatrician, or we might take Connor to the pediatrician to check his ears. Sometimes mommy might say that, huh? And so you might have heard of that word before, a pediatrician. A pediatrician means that is for children. And that's the kind of doctor that would see you and they would check you out, don't they? They check to see if you have a temperature, right? And the temperature is to see if you got a fever. That's what a temperature is. And then sometimes they have to give you a shot, don't they? And it's yeah, and that does really hurt. And it's, or sometimes they have to give you what they call is your vaccination. Say that word. A vaccination is like an injection. Say that. Injection. That means they're going to inject inside of your body the stuff that you need to protect you from different diseases and things like that that are in our world. And so, but there's another doctor that does the same thing, but for animals. And what kind of doctor is that?
A vet.
A vet, that's right. And so did you know that if you go to the zoo, we've been talking a lot about the zoo and the circus and things like that, there's animals, and the same kind of animals that you would see at the circus, you would see at the zoo, some of them, not all of them. You wouldn't probably see a rhinoceros at the circus, but you would see an elephant, and you would see an elephant at the zoo. So we're going to talk about things at the zoo today a little bit, and we're going to talk about a doctor that you would see at the zoo. Now, at the zoos, there's a couple things that you would see that you might not necessarily know what they are. At the zoo, there's something like this right here. Do you know what all this water right here is called?
No.
It's called a moat. What's it called?
Moat.
A moat. It is. It's called a moat. That means it's a body of water around a little tiny island in a section right there. And it's called a moat. And that means they put that there because, especially where the gorillas are, they don't really like water. They don't like to be in the water like that. And so they will put water like that. That way they are not tempted to try to get over on the other side and climb up on to where the sidewalk is where you are. So they will put a moat there. And then in the moat are some things that like to be in the water, like fish. And you see the flamingos. The flamingos, they like to be in the water and things like that. And of course, the crocodiles. Yeah. And the alligators the monkeys and the gorillas are not going to get in that water because there are those gorillas or the alligators, and they do like to eat. Now, what do you think happens if they get sick?
They have to go to the vet.
They have to go to the vet. But sometimes at the zoo will have their own vet that has a building or an office, just like you would go to the pediatrician's office at the zoo, and you might not see it. You might not know that that's where it is. Sometimes it would be underground. You would have to go on downstairs, almost like a basement area at the zoo where they would take the animals to go get checked out. Or sometimes that vet or that person that takes care of the animals is called a zoologist. What's it called? A zoologist. Say that again. A zoologist. And he will go to where the animals are, maybe over here where the pandas are, or over here where the gazelle is and the llama is and the gorilla. And they will go out here. This is called the wild. What is that called?
Wild.
Wild, because the animals are out in the wild. They're not inside a little cage or in your house, out in the wild. And they will go and they will study the animals, and they will go and help the animals if they need, maybe they need vitamins. So they will inject the injection that we talked about. Maybe the vet or the zoologist would give them their injection, their vitamins. Maybe they would give them some kind of medicine if they're sick and things like that. So the zoologist or the vet study the animals and they help to protect them. Or if they're sick, then they definitely have to see the vet because the vet is their doctor and they get taken care of right there. So now also, what happens, do you think, if the mama panda has some babies? Where do you think the babies need to go when they're first born?
In the cave.
Well, out in the wild, like in the forest, they would go into a cave or a den. But at the zoo, they want to make sure everything is okay with the babies, and they want to protect those babies, and they want to make sure the vet checks them out and the zoologist checks the babies out. And so they have their very own, kind of like where you went when you were born. It's called a nursery. Say that. A nursery. At the hospital, there's a nursery. And if you ever go to the hospital where the babies are at, maybe you have a brother or a sister baby born, and mommy will say, we're going to go look at the nursery at the hospital. And there's these big windows. And you are in the hallway, and you look in the window, and there are all these little babies in their little beds, all in the nursery. And that's where all the nurses take care of the babies. Why? Maybe mommy needs to get some rest, or maybe mommy has to maybe take a shower and get cleaned up, and the other nurses are taking care of mommy. The babies will go in the nursery. The same thing at the zoo. There is a nursery where they will take care of any of the sick animals that can't be outside for people to see, because they have to get taken care of. They have to get better, like you. Can you go outside and play when you don't feel good? No. So the animals can't be outside in their wild out here. They have to go in the nursery. Or if there's baby cubs born, or a little baby, maybe a baby Giselle or a baby llama is born, they will put them in the nursery for a little bit while the doctor, the vet, takes care of them. So at the zoo, not only is there a nursery, but there's a doctor's office, like a vet office, for them to be taken care of there too. But sometimes you don't see that. Just like you would see the train that goes by, and you will see the snack shop where you can go get snacks or some food. You would see a building where you can go buy things at the gift shop, and you would see all the different animal section and the moat. But you would not see maybe the veterinarian. Remember, that's the big name for a vet. It's called a what? A veterinarian. Say that big word. Veterinarian. A veterinarian. That's the big word, but it's easy to just say the vet, but that's the real name. The veterinarian. The veterinarian's office, you might not get to see that, because like I said, it might be an underground place, or it's just not out where everybody can see it at the building. Maybe it's just far away from an area where you can't go. But at the zoo, there is a nursery and a veterinarian place, like a hospital. Sometimes there might be a little hospital there where they can take care of those animals. So it's really neat that not only is all the different sections of the animals there, and a gift shop and somewhere to eat, and the train station so you could go around the zoo, but there's also the people there to take care of the animals, like the zoologist. Say that word with me. Zoologist. Remember, he or she is the person that learns how to take care of the animals, and they will visit each animal, and they will learn how each animal needs to live. And then you can visit the animals too when you go to the zoo, don't you? That's what you're doing when you go. You visit the animals at the zoo, just like when we say before the people come to the zoo and they want to know, are the animals going to dress up in their skin? No, but you get to visit the zoo, and so the zoologist comes and visits each animal and checks out each animal and makes sure that they're okay, or checks out what they need. Isn't it neat to learn about different jobs? Maybe you will grow up and you will be a zoologist, and you will learn about animals at the zoo. That would be a fun job, wouldn't it, boys and girls watching? It would be. It is neat to learn about different people in our community and at the zoo.